everybody, and welcome to day 4 of Pivot Forward. I'm Mykie Stiller, the CEO and co-founder of Voss Coaching Co., and I'm so happy to be welcoming you back or welcoming you for the first time to this incredible event. Now, if you've been joining us for the days prior, days 1 through 3, what I want you to do right now is tell me what your biggest takeaway in the event has been so far. We have covered a lot of ground. We, on Monday, covered programming and vision, and thinking. On Tuesday, we got into standard and philosophy. Yesterday, we covered identity and attitude. I mentioned that yesterday was my favorite day of the week. That lesson has had such a huge impact on my life. But I have to say, today's lesson is probably the most important lesson of the entire week. Because if you don't take away today's lesson, then the others don't really matter. They don't go into practice. So I want you to set aside all distractions. Put your phone on airplane mode or do not disturb. Close out all your other browsers, get out a pen and a piece of paper, and plan on investing the next 90 minutes in yourself, giving Arash your absolute undivided attention. Today's lesson is going to be so important and crucial for you to create that massive breakthrough that you're looking for. So Arash, I'd love to bring you on with me.
How are you, Mykie?
I am great. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Arash, you said something yesterday that I thought was so good, and I don't want to mess it up. You said it's easier to behave your way into a new identity than it is to think your way into a new identity. And I think that that kicks off today's lesson so well, because so often we want to study and we want to collect more information, and we think that that's going to get us the results that we want. But there's a missing piece there, because if you don't put it into action, nothing changes.
Yeah, I remember I was in Las Vegas. And it was early in the morning on a Saturday. And I was up late at night and I just wanted to work out. Anyway, there was this company that came out that I became a huge fan of called Peloton. And they had this app, and I'd never been a runner. I ran a marathon before, but that was just because I wanted to go to Ireland. But I got on and I did one of their workouts. And I loved it. The next thing you knew, I have done 1,000 of their workouts. And I behaved my new way into that identity. And it is so much easier to act into a new identity than it is to think. Thinking takes a lot of discipline. You need discipline to win, and I'm going to get into discipline today. But when you act on an idea, when you take the least action, do it anyway. A lot of people think, oh, the small action doesn't matter. It has a huge impact. And the smallest action that you think doesn't matter does matter. We've got to take it, because then it creates a visceral experience. Now we've done it. Emerson has a great quote. He says, do the thing will give you power. He doesn't just say study the thing. He doesn't just say sit in your home. You have to go out and do. And the doing is where the power is. And that's why anytime you get out of your comfort zone, you're behaving your way into a new identity. It is so much easier to behave your way into a new identity than it is to think your way into a new identity.
So what should everybody be thinking about as we get into today's lesson?
Well, I hope they're thinking about a big goal. I hope they have really taken the time to do the exercises. I hope they have a much bigger image of what's possible for themselves. See, we don't want to just come into this information, just listen. Forget I'm even here. Like, this is about you. And I want you to create an extraordinary life. See, when I talked yesterday on identity about acting as your future self, if I get messages from people who say, oh, I don't know what to do, I don't know, they're not thinking because they're not taking the action. And they're victims. See, the lack of an all-in commitment creates bondage. It creates, they keep acting, they keep making excuses from their former self. And we have to walk into our future self. I can't tell you how important yesterday's lesson was. When you start looking forward instead of where you are, you're going to get ideas from your future self. So we have to take extreme ownership of our life. We have to understand everything doesn't happen to us. It comes from us, and we attract it to us. And so without extreme ownership, without dehypnotizing the ridiculous self-talk that people have, Like we've got to dehypnotize ourselves from the ridiculous self-talk. We have to speak like from the magic of thinking big, we have to speak castles into existence. And when we do that, everything changes. Yet we're programmed, we're so physical, yet we're spiritual beings having a physical experience. And we've got to connect to that. Anybody can succeed significantly. You know, we have a great client, Ilse, and her business is absolutely transformed since last May. She came to our world-class wealth event. And she came again a couple weeks ago. And she said, Arash, will you get on a call with my clients? I did. I was blown away by her. You know, in 9 months, she's created an extraordinary business. Why? Because she's done the thing. And I give her so much kudos. I'm so proud of her because she understood not being a victim. She understood doing the work. The work always works. Yet you can have somebody else in the same time frame who makes excuses. They're not going to get the rewards. We earn everything. We've got to get to understand this. Everything is compounding either in our favor or against ourselves. And our thoughts we're earning because who is responsible for them? We are. So when we start working in compound for us, our results are going to compound. But how do you compound? You have to make your personal development sacred. You have to reinvent yourself. We talked about yesterday on the identity lesson that we have to constantly upgrade and edit our image. And understand, every time you make an excuse, you're working from the weaker self. You're working from the past self, so all your energy is backwards. So what do you think you're going to attract in your life? So we've got to really discipline ourselves that we are making a decision. We have an all-in commitment because the all-in commitment prevents us from staying in bondage, staying in the small box where we limit ourselves.
Raj, I want to just touch on our company motto, which is do the work, because what a shame it would be for everyone to invest 90 minutes a day for 5 days in collecting information. You're a great speaker, and this is going to be an entertaining week. But if you don't do the work and you don't implement the ideas that you're talking about, you're going to come back next month or in a year or in 2 years, and your results will not have changed at all. And that would be so disappointing. So will you talk just for a minute about why that's our company motto and what it means to you?
Well, I can relate to the people who didn't do the work because that was me. I thought I was doing the work. I was just gathering information. The work is overcoming the old you. The work is embracing getting out of your comfort zone and doing it. And there's what I call real work versus fake work. If you ever have the chance and you want to work with me closely in our elite mentorship programs, you're going to hear me say this. I'm not into the fake work. I'm into the real work, the deep internal work that creates the significant results and the significant life that is right in front of everybody. That work takes courage. That work takes betting on yourself. That work takes you to take extreme accountability for what you're doing. You know, I always tell people mentorship has saved me tens of millions of dollars in mistakes. And my mentor told me it was going to, but he said, I'm not going to do it for you. You have to do the work. And a lot of people want somebody else to do the work for them. That's not how this works. I will tell you, like, if you just follow the processes and do them and eliminate the excuses, the negative self-talk, and start owning what you're doing, it happens so quickly. In a 6-month period, somebody will take a quantum leap, you know, in a 12-month period, significantly. Mm-hmm. And the work, you're always rewarded. But when we are talking about compounding, the only way you can keep compounding yourself is by keep evolving. We want to keep evolving and getting better and better. We want to get obsessed with getting better. As we get better, the outside world gets better. As we play small, the outside world is going to be small. Everything on the outside is shaped by what's going on inside of us.
So good. All right, Arash, I'm going to let you jump into today's lesson, and I can't wait.
All right, great. Thanks, Mike. All right. Well, today is Oh boy, here we go. The screen paused. Hold on a sec.
Not again.
See, I did nothing this time. I
Uh-huh. We have this running joke that this is user error, and Arash thinks it's a system error.
think it is a system error. And I think, and here's what happens. I always lose my slide once it pauses. So hold on one second.
No problem. This will be worth the wait, I can assure you. So while Arash is pulling those slides back up, just make sure that you have your piece of paper and your pen ready. You're in the right mental state. Maybe bring your goal to the top of your mind.
Mike, will you call me back because my screen went black?
Uh-huh. You have, okay, yep.
Thanks.
I'm going to send you a link.
Okay, thanks. My computer froze. Mm-hmm.
I was like,
Oh, there it is.
Arash, it looks like you're still on, but your video is off and you're muted now. I'm gonna peek through the chat. Arash does have great blazers. Hi, Joe. Good to see you here. Ashley, Vicky. Some familiar names. Oh, yes. Arash's new book is fantastic, Max. I hope you enjoyed it. Go ahead and put in the chat where you're joining us from. I love to see where everybody's from. Wow, all over. Wow. Alaska, UK, Mexico, New Jersey, Nigeria, San Francisco, Louisiana. This is so great.
Hey, Mykie, can you hear me?
I can. Hey, Monica.
I would love to see for everyone to put in the chat how long they've been following Voss for. That would be
Oh, yeah, that would be great to see as well. Is this your first event with us, or how long have you been following Voss?
First event. That's neat.
All right, I think we're good now, Mike.
Oh, good. Okay, pop your video back. From day one.
All right. Ready
Raj,
to go?
yeah, but before you get started, Monica just had a great idea to ask people how long they've been following Arash, following Voss from the first event from day one. And then some people, this is their first event. They've been following us 2 or 3 months. So we've got all across the board here. That's fantastic.
That is great.
All right, go ahead.
All right, so let's start out by embracing this idea that you can create an absolute world-class life for yourself. But in order to do that, we've got to understand what that means. That means we take advantage that this is the only life we know, and we make the decision that I'm going to create a world-class life. I'm going to create a positive impact. I'm going to start making intentional decisions. So I'm going to work on purpose, and I'm going to develop a mindset of excellence. Now, we talked about this yesterday. How you see yourself is absolutely vital. And if you don't see yourself big yet, I want you to see yourself as a star. I want you to build an enormous image of yourself, because you can spend your days how you want, but it's all dependent on how you see yourself. Now, our motto at Voss is, I talked to you about, you can get emotionally involved with the idea of creating your own economy. We want you to create a spiritual economy. What does that mean? That means you live in abundance, you live in freedom, but you're doing what you love. I watch too many people stagnant because they're not doing what they love. You want to spend your days doing what you love. The average individual works 100,000 hours in their life. And I watch too many people who don't do what they love. Make a decision that you're going to really work on spending your days on what you love doing, not what you're boxed in doing. I used to be boxed in when I was in the corporate world, and it takes courage to get out of that, but your life is going to change so dramatically. An abundant economy comes from being in love with what you're doing, and you're using your natural gifts. Now, when we talk about money, financial freedom always comes from conquering yourself. And, I say this all the time. The only difference between those who earn great wealth, big incomes, and those who do not are the ones that do have decided to. It is a decision. And I want you to decide to become what you really want to become. Now, I showed you this slide the first day, and it's going to make more sense now, because I wanted to introduce it to you. Now we're on day 4. The highest level of mastery comes from performing according to your standards. What are your standards? They're your code of ethics. Our standards is showing the world how we value ourselves, who we are, and the world brings it back to us. Our income always reflects our identity. We could never outperform our identity. And you will never outperform your story of how you see yourself. So we've got to start changing the narrative. Like, I want you to think of this. Yesterday, we talked about, is your old story controlling you? I want you to change that narrative of your story. Change it to the story you really want to live in, because the story creates the identity, and the identity creates the result. Now, this is something I want you to pay close attention to. Are you a watcher in your life? Let's look at the attributes of a watcher. A watcher, they're spectators sitting in the stand watching others play the game of life. And I want you to ask yourself, is that me? Am I passive with everything I do? They watch somebody else get the money, get the recognition, get the relationships, get the confidence, and get the rewards. They're always watching other people. They never try hard at anything, because they are so afraid to fail. They're so mechanical. And at the first sign of difficulty, challenge, or disappointment, they discard their dreams and blame others. Once they have a failure, they'll never try it again. They say, I'm never doing it again. I took a risk. It didn't work. I'm never doing it again. And they are never playing the game of life actively. I want you to be honest with yourself. Am I a watcher? Now, let's look at, and they're excuse makers. Now let's look at the player. The player is who we want you to become. They practice their craft deliberately. They practice building their mindset. They're willing to get out of their comfort zone until they're the best they can be. They reap the rewards of their efforts. They know success is not linear. There's going to be a bunch of setbacks and wins along the way. And they are constantly in delayed gratification. They see everything I'm doing right now. I may not see the results for 4 months, but I'm going to keep building myself. They use their power to make things happen. They're so connected and understand, and they're aware that their spiritual DNA is perfect, and they become more and more aware of that. And they are really understanding using their higher faculties. That's the power. And they reach within to the well of power that they have to get their desired results. They literally live George Bernard Shaw's quote that I don't believe in circumstances. The people who get on in life are the people who get up and look for circumstances they want. And if they can't find them, they make them. They are always looking at solutions, not problems. And they take risks and get the rewards. I'm going to tell you right now, this is a hard fact. The person who doesn't take risk is risking more than the person who takes risk. So if you're sitting there being a watcher, I promise you, you're not taking the risk. You're not betting on yourself. You're not burning your bridges, and you are definitely not going into your future self. Now, all you have to do is observe your results. They'll tell you if you've been a watcher or a player just since January. And you know who I'm talking to. You'll know yourself right away which one I am. The watcher never lets go. The watcher never creates impact. The player is always focused on impact and contribution. Now, I want you to put your goal in your mind right now. I want you to get it really clear in your mind. You know, I don't even want that. I want you to write down your goal. I want everybody just for a second to write down their goal, because the rest of this lesson, once you write it, you're going to think from the goal. I'm going to give you a few seconds. I'm going to give you about 45 seconds to write it down. I want everyone to write it down. Don't just put it in your mind. Get it on paper first. Everything that I'm going to talk about the rest of the day is going to come from this goal. All right, now let's look at this. When you fall in love with this goal, you really are committed and an all-in level to become what you want to become. And it takes an intense hunger to bring about the transformation of self. So your why is so much stronger than your why not. Your story is going to become a self-fulfilling prophecy for yourself. Now, the only obstacle in your way right now is present results. So let's go over the rules. Every day, you set the philosophy, I am going to conquer myself. I have a daily goal that inspires me towards my big goal. I am not allowing present results or outside circumstances to control me, and I'm going to listen to myself to understand. This is the only brick wall. I told you this yesterday. I'm going to say it again. I want you to observe the conversations today. Watch how many people are talking in your environment that is just based on present results. So what are they going to create? The same thing that they've been creating, because the present results is just a reflection of our past thinking, beliefs, and behaviors. Now, I want this goal into a love story. I want you to fall so deeply in love with it. And right now, I will tell every one of you, you are right now at this moment. I don't care what the results say. I only care what you're building. Because right now you're sitting at this very moment in your own acres of diamonds. Once we neutralize the program and start focusing on who we want to become, how we want to live, and really commit to the want at an extreme discipline level, that's all you're going to start attracting into your life. But remember, the why has to be so strong. And the why is your reasonings for doing it. I tell clients all the time, they'll say, you know, I've been doing the processes and I'm just doing it to check a box. And I said, this is what I want you to do. Every time before you do any of the processes I teach, I want you to remind yourself what the reasons behind doing the processes are. And to a person, every person tells me that was a game changer for them. Once they understand why they're doing something, they get emotionally involved. Get such a deep connection to your why. Everything in this universe is connected. The more emotionally involved I can get you to living your vision, the quicker you're going to bring it to fruition, that you're going to experience it with your 5 senses. Now, I want you, when we fall in love, we get into the spirit of it. When we're in the spirit of something, we go right to the frequency of that thing. It is your goal. So I want you to look at your goal right now. The minute you let yourself go, once you let your mind go, that's where the magic happens. Now you've accepted that idea. It is done. You're in the spirit of it. And now we can get moving. Einstein says it the best. Everything is energy. And that's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. I want you to lock in on this quote. All we have to do is get out of the way. All we have to do is go there. How do you go there? You got to let yourself go. You go there with your imagination. There is a place. What takes you there? Your imagination. The minute you write it down, you go there. The minute you auto-suggest it, you go there. Now, I want you to look at all these lines. There's an infinite number of frequencies. Now, each frequency is connected to the one and the one above and below. But a frequency is a level of vibration. What do you think thought is? Thought is a frequency. And we want to think from the goal, from this point on. And once we understand everything is connected, that's when we can understand we can go anywhere we want to go in our mind. Now, we've got to accept this idea. And I want you to accept it on an emotional level. Creation is already finished. What you want is already here. Your goal is already here. The minute you commit at an all-in level, that it is already done. So now you're focused on becoming better, strengthening your mindset, operating with persistent action. And your goal, I don't care what you wrote down, it is done. You've got to understand that. Now, understand the programming is going to fight everything I'm telling you right now. I don't see it with my physical eyes. Your 5 senses are going to be the last part of you that experience the goal. Now, this is where you are right now on this frequency. And I want you right now, take an honest look at where you are in your life. You're going to see exactly how you got there. Now, your goal is on a much higher frequency. When we were talking about the goal achievement process, I told you the only thing you have to do to get to a big goal is name it and claim it. So when you accept the idea right away, as soon as you accept it, it is done. It can't be, it is done when this happens, it is done then. No, it is already done. So you start training yourself to see what you would see as it's done. You train your subconscious mind to feel what you would be feeling as it was done. And the moment you do it, you activate that goal on that frequency. And right away, your mind goes there. But the moment your mind goes there, the program brings it right down. So we have to get involved with the repetition of training your mind to stay there. So it's the repetition of auto-suggesting, visualizing, and taking action from your future self. And the repetition over and over and over again is going to alter your vibration. And that's going to be the dominant place where you're going to stay once you commit to the repetition. But the moment your belief matches with any state, you become one with it. Now, let me give you some cues on how you know you'll become one with it. You have extreme ownership. You do not let the outside control you. You're going to notice you're taking action with swagger. You're going to take different actions than you've ever taken. Your thinking is going to change. The people in your environment are going to start changing. And that's how you're going to know. That's where I say this union results in the activation and projection of its plots, plans, conditions, and circumstances. Now, this new state of conscious awareness, it's going to be your new home. Like all of us are seeing the world so differently. We see it based on our programming. But as you get into upgrade mode and upgrade your program that all I'm going to see, feel, hear, taste, and touch from my goal, and you train yourself with repetition to do that, that's how you're going to see the world. And that's how your outside world is going to start shaping itself. It is your workshop, your inner work, your mindset work, your consistent, deliberate action of being a player in your life. Is you're going to see the outside shaping itself to the model of your imagination. And understand this. We talked about this on day one. Imagination is activated the minute you accept an idea. And if you don't accept it or reject it, you're automatically accepting it with your imagination. And your imagination is the greatest tool you have. I'll say it again. Einstein says it the best. Logic takes us from A to B. Imagination takes us everywhere. Imagination is your superpower. But when you're wanting to go somewhere far greater than what you've ever achieved, your 5 senses are going to fight you. Your program goes to your 5 senses and it fights you. But when you accept that idea and get in the spirit of it, you're going to move on to a higher frequency and you're going to see a world that is so foreign and beyond the reach of your 5 senses, where your 5 senses, you will have disciplined it by this point. Now, your imagination, I want you to practice disciplined imagination every day. I want you to go do my meditation. I do a guided meditation that's on my YouTube channel. I'm sure we could send you a link of it. And I want you to commit to doing it 3 times a day. Your imagination takes you to another frequency. There is a place. I want you to think about this. I want you to think the first hour of your day today, your imagination took you there. See, I want you to start practicing disciplined imagination. Nothing works without discipline. What did we say Neville said? He said, the only problem people have is weakness of attention and poverty of imagination, but not you. From this moment on, you made a decision that I don't care how long it takes, this is where I'm going. And I love what Earl Nightingale says. He says, the time is gonna pass anyway. Forget about the time and get to work. And that's what we wanna do on our dream. And to move to a considerably higher frequency of thought, you must first accept the idea. When you accept it, you go there. You become one with it. You get in the spirit of it. And you adapt to the ideas, feelings that this new frequency represents. Understand, there's going to be times you're going to doubt yourself. And as soon as doubt comes in, you say, reject. That is my old conditioning. This is where I'm going no matter what. I have made a decision. I am living a world-class life. I am constantly making pivoting forward part of my philosophy, and I'm getting emotionally involved with living the way I want to live. At the suggestion of a move, your existing paradigm is going to put on a royal fight. So I want you to think of it. If you're sitting there right now and you said, this is what I'm going to do, then you say, next week I'll start it. On Monday, I'll start it. Oh, I've invested in something. I'm going to ask for a refund. You lost at that moment. The moment you gave into the paradigm won. And if the paradigm wins, you're going to keep living the way you've always lived. So understand, when the paradigm is there, I want you to talk to it with a stern voice. Enough. I've done it your way my whole life. From this point on, this is how I'm going to live. And as soon as you talk directly to your paradigm, it's like a bully. What do you do to a bully? You stand up to it. The paradigm is like a bully. And when you're firm with it and say, no, I am not accepting it, this is how I'm going to live, you neutralize that paradigm. We've got to get really good at understanding when the paradigm takes control of us, because it is going to continually to fight you. It's going to think like, am I going nuts? Is this really going to work? I promise you, everything works by exact law. If it works for one person, it'll work for you. But our job is to take conscious control over the paradigm by reshaping your program. Remember, how do you reshape your program? You discipline your thinking. You get so great at accepting and rejecting ideas. You get so good at your process of installing the new belief with auto-suggestion and visualizing. You take action every day out of your comfort zone. And as soon as you do that, you're going to change it. Nothing is going to change your paradigm quicker than you being in control of yourself. Nothing is going to take control of you quicker by giving into the paradigm. So it's always going to be a royal battle between your former self and the person you want to become. Now, you always, once you do this, you are going to see all these little goals accomplished to the big goal. You cannot connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards. So think of a goal you've achieved. You could tell yourself right now how you achieved it looking back. But during the goal achievement process, you would have never known. I watched so many people give up on their goals before it's ever going to happen. That's why you've got to really fall in love with delayed gratification. You have to trust in the universe. The universe has your back. The universe wants to serve you. The universe is here to serve you. But you've got to let your mind go, and you have to absolutely refuse to let the outside conditions and circumstances control you. And when you understand this, everything's going to align perfectly to get to where you want to go. But understand this, none of this happens without discipline. We have to discipline our standard. We have to discipline our attitude. We have to discipline our thinking. It takes discipline to master the art of achieving goals. Now, on day one, I said there's 3 things you need to understand if you're going to create a world-class life. Number 1, you have to know exactly what you want. Number 2, you have to determine the price you're going to have to pay. And number 3, you have to be willing to pay the price. That price is going to be overcoming adversity. That price is going to be discipline. That price is going to stop starting and stopping. That price is to think in a certain way and act in a certain way. That's what the price is going to be. But understand, and I want to change your attitude. I want this installed in your attitude. Discipline is not living a life of restriction. It's about living a life of freedom. It's about harmony. And I'm telling you, if you're going after something big, the universe is going to challenge you to see how badly you really want it. You've got to be willing to become that person mentally. You've got to be willing to get out of your comfort zone. You've got to be willing to take the action. And then you're going to get in harmony with what you want. Now, when you give in to and start minimizing your disciplines, you're going to lose. All disciplines affect each other. I want you to burn this in your mind. All action affects each other. That's why I said the smallest action, the least action, the action you think doesn't matter, it matters hugely. Take it. It activates all the next steps. The next steps you're going to attract to the fulfillment of your goal. Now, let's get, how do we discipline? We have to discipline our thinking. So world-class individuals never keep their energy on what is. That's present results. You can't put your thoughts on what's missing. I want you to start for the next 30 days. I told you this yesterday. I said, I want you to start looking for the good in everything. I don't want you to put your thoughts on present results. That's based on the past. That's not thinking. That's reacting. I want you to transform your past, learn from it, but don't keep your energy there. And I do not want you to keep your thoughts on what others want for you. You're the star in your own movie. You're building a significant identity for yourself. I want you to value yourself. I want you to charge what you're worth. I want you to surround yourself with people who make you feel good. And I want you to get rid of the double binding messages. We become what we think about most of the time. Your dominant thinking is expressing your results. Your subconscious mind expresses the dominant of two ideas. The greatest power that we have is choice. We choose what we do. We choose what we think. We choose what goals we commit to. We choose what excuses we make. Become absolutely excellent in thinking in a certain way. And there's nothing more powerful than thought. Thought is things. Thoughts are real. Thought is creating your life. Speak castles into existence. Speak abundance into your life. Speak worthiness into your life, and you're going to see how your outside world is going to shape. Now, this is what I want as part of your philosophy. This will change the game for you. Discipline is about delayed gratification. It's about seeing the bigger picture. It is going to transform you so significantly. But your program is going to say, see, this doesn't work. See, I need you to be my crutch. No, I need you to be your biggest cheerleader. I need you to be your best accountability partner. I need you to understand your spiritual DNA is perfect. That if you follow the rules and do the repetition, everything changes. You didn't create your current program overnight. You're not going to change it overnight. Over a 6-month period, it'll change if somebody will lock in for 6 months. If you will remove the starting and stopping, it'll change your game and you're going to see the bigger picture. But world class is not what we do once in a while. It's what you do every day that makes the difference. Your habits, your behaviors, your commitments are reflected. They will tell you what your identity is. Your language will tell you. I'm telling you this right now. Do not start and stop. I did it for 3 years and I sabotaged myself. Then I went all in and I was consistent and I created the life that I would only have dreamed of. And you can do it too. I will tell you this, anybody can do it. If I can do it, you can absolutely do it. Now, why discipline is so important? It takes discipline to conquer the limiting voices in our mind. It takes discipline to create great self-talk. It takes discipline to be honest with ourselves. If we're not honest with ourselves, all we're doing is suppressing. Eventually, it's going to create something that we do not want in our lives. And it takes discipline to create new habits. If you or me do not continue installing better and better habits, we're not going to go any further. If we have the same disciplines, the same behaviors, over the next year, nothing's going to change. So we want to understand why discipline is so important for you to live the way you want to live. And the greatest value of discipline, it is building your self-worth and self-esteem. Every time you build discipline, you gain more and more self-respect, more and more self-respect. And then you're not going to be a watcher anymore. People are not watchers because they want to be watchers. They're watchers because they haven't built that self-worth and self-esteem. They're worried about it not working out. I want you to go all in with yourself. And I want you to embrace getting out of your comfort zone. Make this such a big part of your identity. I want you to think about the last time you got out of your comfort zone. How did it make you feel? That is the power of discipline. Every time you get out of your comfort zone, you're not just going towards your goal. You're not just fusing with your future self. You're building self-worth. You're building self-esteem. And that's why action is the foundation of success. Successful people do things that unsuccessful people are not willing to do. I'm telling you this right now. They do things, even if they don't want to do them, they still do them because they know it is essential for their growth. So what things are you not doing right now based on comfort? That right away is what you want to shift. I'll give you a big thing. I was talking to a great client of ours, Robert, yesterday. Now, Robert has been working with us, I think, since January, and he is all in. But I told him, he said, Arash, let me ask you a question. And it was a brilliant question. He said, how do you attack your paradigm? I said, this is what I do. The part of my paradigm that I don't like at all, I attack that right away. That is where my greatest resistance is. And remind yourself, the magic is attacking your greatest resistance. That's where the work is. And that's why winners are prepared to do what they don't want to do. Are you prepared to do what you don't want to do? Are you willing to go 3 months of practicing your processes? You don't see results, and then boom, the results start flowing in. That's what you have to be willing to commit to. Now, I see results happen much quicker with anybody who's consistent. Anybody who's consistent. But you can't be consistent for a few days. Commitment gets you started. Consistency gets you to the finish line. Now, all of this does not happen without extreme ownership. This, outside of faith and gratitude, is the most powerful part of your attitude. That I am responsible for all the results I'm getting. That if I'm not getting results that I want, there's something I got to clean up inside of me, inside my heart. And I'm going to purify my heart and let go of any form of lack and limitation. I'm going to remove any form of scarcity in my life. When you take responsibility, you take power back to transform your life. And understand what extreme ownership means. It means I'm responsible for all the actions in my life. Everything I do is with a great deal of responsibility. That means my thoughts, my feelings, my actions, my attitudes, everything. And I am responsible for all my results. When you do this, now you're pivoting forward. Now look at this. You have a roadmap. You have an internal GPS that is telling you every day, if you're paying attention and listening, and action leads to the next action, it ignites your GPS. Without action, we're stuck, like we're in quicksand. We've got to be free. We let our mind go. We understand the magic is in getting in the spirit because we've accepted the idea. Now, action changes everything. Action changes your identity. That's how you behave your way into a new identity. Action changes your programming right away because it creates a visceral experience. Action gives you self-respect. And every time you're taking an action, no matter how big or how small, you're going closer, closer, closer. And you're going to start finding the outside world shaping in your favor. Now, I want everybody right now to make a definite decision, an unwavering decision that you're going to the top, whatever that means for you. Whatever you wrote down, it is done. Creation is already finished. And I want you to believe in yourself before you're ready. You have to take the move before you're ready. Once you do that, everything is going to activate in your favor. Your actions always tell you how badly you want it. I want you to observe your actions this week. They will tell you how badly you want it. Observe your actions since January. They will either tell you, and it'll blow you away, why you succeeded this year so far, or why you've stayed where you were. Actions will always tell the story. Just like results tell the story, your actions tell you how much you're in love with your goal, how badly you really want it, how big your why is. Get in harmony with taking great actions. Now, I showed you this the other day because I want to give you the repetition to burn this in your mind. Action is the fundamental foundational key to all success. Without action, nothing happens. It's not, you can have degrees coming out everywhere. You could have a PhD, you can have a master's. I'm proud of you for that. That's great. But it doesn't matter how much knowledge without implementation. It's not just about the knowledge and talent. It's about how you use the knowledge and unleash the talent. Become a player, let go, let your mind go, dream big, build an enormous image and watch what transforms for you. Now, we've got to discipline our action, period. None of this works without discipline. Develop the ability to take action every single day. The time to act is when the idea is burning hot inside of you and the emotion is strong. That's when the time to act is. Don't say, I'm going to do it tomorrow. Do it right away. Do it now, right away. And do it now is going to change your life. Do it right away. Make everything that I do it right away. Do it now. You have to put action into a disciplined activity. That's just the rules. If it's not mixed with discipline, it's not going to happen. If your why is not mixed with discipline, it's not going to happen. If your goal is not mixed with discipline, it's not going to happen. And if your action is definitely not mixed with discipline, that as soon as you have that idea, you act on it, it's not going to happen. You must practice living your standard and make action a part of your standard. You mix it with discipline and you're going to create world-class results. And the best part is you will see immediate results. You will see immediate results by acting on your idea. You're pivoting forward constantly and consistently. And the great part is you will implement this strategy for the rest of your life. You will implement it for the rest of your life. Action will become a part of your identity where it will be harder for you to act on ideas than not. It will be harder for you to not be a player than to be a player. You won't even recognize how you used to be as a watcher. But understand, I keep telling you this, I keep burning it in your mind. Personal action is critical to creating the results you want. It is absolutely essential. Your current results are the effect of the actions you've been taking. So if you don't like the results, let's compound the actions. Let's evolve yourself and everything is going to start evolving in your favor. If something stops evolving, meaning it stops growing, it stops compounding. We want compounding interest working for us, not against us. Now, inspired action with swagger. What did I say yesterday? You've got to start being confident before you even feel confident. Do not let the outside world dictate your confidence. Let your action steps dictate your confidence. Let your goal dictate the confidence you must train yourself to be before you're there. Remember, before we're going to see something, we have to be it. We have to go do the cold calling if you're in sales. And where are the clients going to come from? They're going to come from wherever they are. When you get in the spirit, when your goal is a love story, I promise you, the outside world knows, and it conspires on your behalf to make it a reality. You must act now. You cannot act in the past. You cannot act based on it didn't work. Dismiss the past from your mind. Like Wallace Waddell says in The Science of Getting Rich, let the dead bury the dead. If you didn't do it in the past, you didn't have the same commitment. Once you have that all-in commitment, the how shows up all the time. Now, I'm going to give you a process that will activate you on a daily basis. The magic lies in the momentum we start. So watch this. And I want you to take a picture of this and blow it up and keep it in your office. Every day, set clear goals, number one, that inspire you, that are worthy of you. Number two, break your goals into daily action steps where it would be impossible not to do. Number 3, when your goal is clear, your focus is sharpened. When you have defined the person you're going to be, your focus is like a laser and it is locked in, and you're going to be aware of what to do at every step of the way. Number 4, you need a why so big, so strong, so mixed with discipline that pulls you out of the comfort of inaction. And number 5, every time you take an action step, you're building self-respect. You are building your new identity. You are fusing with that future self that already knows how to achieve your goal. Burn these 5 steps and it will prevent you from drifting. Now, let me get back to this. One idea changed my life. And I will tell you this. The one idea that changed my life was decision making. I remember 17, maybe 15 years ago. I don't remember the exact time frame, but I remember we were in New York, Bob and I. He was about to speak at Carnegie Hall. And I remember asking him, I said, what are the biggest parts of this philosophy that changed your life? And he said 2 things to me. He said, number 1, decision making. He said, I used to be a terrible decision maker. He said, once I understood decision making, it changed my life. And number 2, he said, auto-suggestion. Now, once he told me those 2, I started observing myself and I said, how good am I at making decisions? And I upgraded my decision making, even though it had developed at that time pretty strong. I wanted to even make it stronger. And auto-suggestion has always been a strong foundation in my life when I made the change. But this idea will change your life because nothing happens until you make a decision. I'll talk to clients all the time and I'll say, tell me what decision is. And they'll say, well, when you do this, this, and this. I said, that's not decision. Decision is when you have an all-in commitment, non-negotiable, that it is already done. That is how you make a decision. Your goal is already done in your mind. Your new identity is done in your mind. You are your future self. That's the decision I want you to make. But you have to make this definite decision before you're ready. It's not just doing it. I told you this. You have to make it before you're ready. Look what Napoleon Hill said. And I want you to dissect this with me. Decisions, or the lack of them, are responsible for making or breaking everything you desire in your life. Let's stop there. He's saying whether you make decisions or you don't, it's a decision itself. And you're either going to pivot forward and create an amazing life, or you're going to stay where you are. People who become very proficient at making decisions without being influenced by the opinion of others are the same people whose annual incomes fall in the top income category. We have to let our desire make the decision. Every decision comes from the person you want to become. If that person would say yes, your future self would say yes, you say yes. You don't need to know how. The how always shows itself when the why is greater than the why not. But until we get emotionally involved in acting on decisions, the results don't change. Year after year, you could study this till you're blue in the face. The results don't change until you act, until you implement, until you do the real deep internal work. And that deep internal work does not happen without decision making. Now, let's take a look at this. This is you. This is your goal. I'm going to tell you this again. Your brick wall is your paradigm. Your paradigm does not want you to change. Your paradigm does not want you to create a quantum leap. It loves comfort. And the moment you make a weak decision, you say, I'm going to turn my annual income into my monthly income. What happens? You start looking at why you can't. You start looking at why it's not working. You start making excuses. Everything is a wish or a hope. But when you make this real decision with the understanding that every time I'm going after something bigger, every time I am aspiring for something far greater, the paradigm is going to try to bring me down. But my antidote for that paradigm is action. My antidote is making an irrevocable, committed decision. This is where I'm going no matter what. Now decision-making just broke you free. It gives you a free line to go where you are. But remember, every day is day one. Every day we're believing in delayed gratification. Every day we're believing in our unwavering potential, that I am infinite, you are infinite. There's no limit to where you can take yourself. And then guess what happens? You have a free pass to get from where you are to where you want to go. Without decision, nothing changes. And I cannot emphasize this enough. It can't be a weak decision. It can't be a decision based on a program. The decision is driven by the results. And the honest truth is, when you're making a decision from the program, it's not a decision. Your program is still in control, and you're going to stay down on the frequency of where you currently are. But we have to burn all of our bridges. We have to have that all-in commitment. The lack of the all-in commitment keeps us in a box. It creates bondage. It does not allow you to keep compounding your results by keep evolving. You will never achieve the dream in your heart unless you're willing to take a big jump and burn your bridges. Now, that takes courage. That takes courage over comfort. That takes growth. You're not growing. I don't care how much you study this. You are not growing unless you have an all-in commitment, unless you're willing to get out of your comfort zone. Now, the reward always goes to the risk taker. The person who thinks they're playing safe, they are risking it all. I'm telling you this. Ask yourself, have I been playing it safe over the last year? And then look at your results. You'll know this to be true. But what are the characteristics of a risk taker? They bet on themselves. You are the only person you have to bet on. You bet on you, you have infinite potential inside of you. They believe in their own ideas. They're willing to fail until they succeed. They know the two keys of entrepreneurship, the two keys of success, is either they bet on themselves and they keep persisting, or they give up and their business falls. Never give in. I'm telling you, you're making an error because you just have not had enough hours of practice at your craft before you're going to see the big result. They're willing to lose in order to win. You're willing to fail at your future self than succeed at your current self. And they have self-respect. They're building through every discipline, every action, every thought, they're building greater and greater self-respect. And they stand up for themselves. They hold strong in their authenticity, in who they are. They are comfortable with who they are. And they know failing is part of winning. I will tell you this. This has to be mastered, because I want you to understand, when you take a risk, you're setting yourself up to win. The whole universe is conspiring on your behalf when you're going after something bigger, when you're going after something greater. I was listening to this interview the other day from Eddie Murphy. I'm dating myself now, but when I was growing up, the Arsenio Hall show was a big show. And something on my Instagram feed came up of Eddie Murphy. And he was one of my favorite comedians growing up. But anyway, he said to Arsenio Hall, he said, I watch people who achieve dreams and I watch people who don't. And he said the commonality is the people who don't have a fallback plan. Whenever we have a fallback plan, we're expecting to fail. And I thought nothing could have been more accurate. We've got to go all in. We've got to burn our bridges, and you will achieve dream after dream. But when deciding to take a risk, always ask yourself, will this risk take me to my goal? Will this investment take me to my goal? Will it take me closer or further away? And if you follow it to the letter, I guarantee you, you're going to win big. I can guarantee you that. Listen to what Mark Zuckerberg says. If you want to really emphasize this in your identity, the biggest risks are people not taking risks at all. The world that is changing so quickly, the only strategy that is guaranteed to fail is not taking risks. And I'm talking to you right now. Stop screwing around with your life. You have got to start really holding yourself to the standard and understand that you are going to be rewarded far greater than any risk you take. Now, I told you there's a bunch of one ideas that changed my life this week. And the one idea that started all of the change, besides me betting on myself, was getting the right mentorship. And my mentor was the most extraordinary mentor. He pushed me hard. He never did it for me. And he told me that. He said, I'm not going to do it for you. There is no learning there. And we have so many coaching programs that are designed for where anybody is in their life and what they want. If you want business coaching, we have it. If you want personal coaching, we have it. If you want elite level strategizing, we have it. We have every type of coaching you can imagine. But coaches are there to push you to your limits to achieve greatness. And understand, a great coach already sees you where you are. I knew that. Why did I hire my coach? Why did I hire Bob Proctor? I know I needed to improve if I was going to change my life. I was aware that I was so ignorant that I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And I needed to leverage my ignorance. And coaching is your greatest cheat code. It takes you from where you are to where you want to be. And if you don't believe me, look at all our client success stories. You're going to see videos on them. Go through them. But you want to implement your coach because you're going to save millions in mistakes. You're going to get rid of that old self that plays it small. You're going to start understanding what's possible. 6 months from now, you'll be in a different place if you do the work. The work always works. Coaches are going to save you millions. And you always want to work with a coach who's already performed the results that you want to get. And I will tell you, if you work with us and if you follow the processes, because processes is what creates mastery, you're going to create a huge, huge jump in your results. But a great mentor is going to save you pain and a lot of time. A great mentor sees your potential. They never see you as how you are. They see you already where you want to be. You really want to get into one of our mentorship programs. It will change your life like it's done the thousands of people we've mentored since we've started Voss Coaching. You know, when Mykie and I first started this, I had a lot of years of experience at a very elite level that I built myself coaching-wise. But I said I wanted to create coaching programs that would fit anybody's need. Now, I'm so transparent with people, and I get them into believing in themselves and get them into action and giving them the exact processes. And I'm very transparent. If you're not going to practice the processes, you're not going to win. And if you're not willing to do the work, you're not going to win. But if you lock in and do the work, you're going to win. People want to do the work. It's not that they don't want to do the work. They just don't know what the processes are. And once you get the right direction, your life is going to change so extraordinarily. Now, how do you constantly push yourself to your limits? You don't do it alone. You have to put a dream team around you. You've got to put yourself in the right environment. You have to have mentors. I'll forever have mentors in my life. Forever. And why? Because we all have blind spots. If you think you're going to do it alone, go ahead. You know, one day I was with my mentor at his house, and I said, let me ask you a question. And he said, sure. I said, have you ever met anyone who's done this alone? He said, all things are possible. The people who do it alone don't know what they're doing, where they can't teach it to their kids. And they'll get great results because they're unconscious competence. He said, but they don't know what they did. So if their results go backwards, they lose it. He said, but when somebody works with you and I, Arash, within 6 months, they'll create amazing results, and they're going to know why they created the results. Understand, this work, you have to do it by yourself, but you don't need to do it alone. You want to let Voss help you. And I love this quote by Robin Sharma. He says, in order to double your income and your impact, you have to triple your investment in time spent on your personal mastery and your professional development. There is something, if you want to really create the results, I'm forever saying this to our elite clients. To get the results of the top 1 to 3%, you've got to be willing to do what the top 1 to 3% do. And the top 1 to 3% always understand the opportunity cost. They never worry about what the investment is. They focus on where the investment's going to take them. And if you want to create a life of freedom, if you want to create great wealth, if you want to create great self-esteem, if you want to create life on your terms, you have to value yourself and understand that opportunity cost. Now, let's take a look at this. This is you again. Your want, when you have a want, your job is to accept it. This is what I'm doing no matter what. That want comes from the essence of who you are. You have pure perfection. You would not have a want that you are not capable of achieving. The challenge is, as soon as somebody gets a want, the average people, they reject it right away. Oh, I've never done anything close to that. I'm not going to do it. But you are not average. You're extraordinary. And I want you to accept that want. Understand right now in your belly, there's a fire burning. You want something much greater than what you have right now, and it is yours for the taking. Your job is to accept it. And the minute you accept it, you now named it and claimed it. Think of what we were talking about frequencies earlier. You name it and claim it. And your job is to do the repetition to turn this want into a desire. We don't want to keep it in the wanting state. The wanting state still states we don't have it. We want to turn the want into a desire. Once it's a desire and it's an obsession, it is your mission. It is so much bigger than you. Then when you do that, you alter your vibrations, your thoughts, your feelings, the circumstances in your environment change. Like right now, even just what I said about getting in mentorship with us, you have an idea, you either accepted it or rejected it. But think about your future self. Would your future self had said yes to that? Do not make decisions from your program, or else you're not going any further than you're going. Bet on yourself. Get the right direction. Work with me deeply. Let's do the real work and create a world-class life for yourself. Now, the old virus code is always released once you make a decision. Bet on yourself. Make that decision. Take risks. Burn your bridges. Act now. There's never any time but now, and there's never going to be any time but now. The timing will never just be right. The opportunity presents itself when it is the right time. And if it is there, your job is to say yes. And if you don't want to do it, say no. It's still a decision. But act on your decisions. Bet on yourself. Start saying yes. You watch how the world is going to shape itself around you. Now, remember, winning is the best motivator. When you make winning part of your identity, it's game over. You are going to live the way you want to live. And it is going to change your life. Fall in love with decision making. Nothing happens until you make a decision. Book a call with one of my coaches. Get in our mentorship program. Book a call is an action step, because if you're not even willing to do that, what do you think you're sending out into the universe? That you're not even willing to even find out about how we can help you. I really brag about our coaches because I think we have the best coaches in the industry. Like all of them have been personally trained by me. Monica DeMarin is our director of coaching. I've had the pleasure of working with her for what seems like 20 years, even though it hasn't been. But she did exactly what I told her to do. And when she came to me, I said, I want you to get so good at this that I want you to be better than me. And I said, when I worked with Bob, he told me, do exactly what I tell you to do. When I work with our clients, the first call I have with them, I said, I want you to do exactly what I tell you to do. And the ones that do, crush it. Then you look at Marcelo Gonzalez. He's bilingual. He has so much heart into this. If you work with him, he is going to put his whole heart into you. And he is going to help you and give you the strategies of what to do. Then we have Jeff Repage. Jeff was a former teacher and he has reshaped himself. And all of my coaches, I challenge them to continue to get better. I want them to live our standard. You are going to be doing yourself the greatest favor by booking a call with one of our coaches. Until tomorrow, I want to thank you. I love this lesson because it puts the icing on the cake, and nothing happens without decision, discipline, and action. I'm going to turn it over to my great friend, Monica DeMarin. And Mon, I want you to really give your best today. I want to even be better than yesterday.
Okay.
Give everything you have.
You got it. Absolutely. And that's a perfect example how Arash is constantly stretching us every single chance he gets. So he brings out the best in us. Today's lesson was so great. Become a player, not a watcher. And a player is always focused on impact and contribution, like Arash said. Well, contribution is also contributing to yourself and your growth, not only just out to the world, but yourself. You have to contribute that every single day. So creating a wealth consciousness comes from making great decisions, focusing on the good. You know, if you look at world-class behaviors, world-class thinking, world-class thoughts, this mirrors your goals. So becoming a wealth consciousness, with that, making decisions from not from your current environment, not from what other people want from you or other people's opinions. It's what you want for yourself. Those are decisions that empower you. And I see people all the time, they're overthinking their decisions. They're letting days and weeks go by, questioning if they should do what's in their heart, what they already know, what they need to do, wasting so much time and energy. And I can relate to that. Because I remember Arash saying to me, he said, Monica, he says, you're overthinking the overthinking. So I can relate to that. And I didn't want that. I was wasting so much time and energy. So I wanted to create abundant thinking. I did exactly what Arash told me to do from the beginning, following through. I didn't want to come from lacking, trusting myself. I already knew what I wanted. The moment you make that decision and follow through, you'll feel so liberated, because you're going to stop this ping pong game with yourself in your head. Like, enough of that. Come from the standard of your new goal and take a look at the last 4 days here. Now it's time to take you much deeper. And like Mykie said right at the beginning, she says, today's lesson, none of the other ones from the beginning of the week will be impacted without making those decisions. So remember, it's who you become. Who do you want to become today? When you take that responsibility, you're going to open up to transform your life. So having the right direction, having someone pinpoint your limiting beliefs, your double binding messages, getting rid of all of that, you're going to receive the exact processes. Working with our coaches like Arash went through, Marcelo and Jeff, myself, we've all been highly trained. We love what we do. You will sprint towards your finish line. So once you get there, we teach you how to stretch yourself again and again and again. So it becomes this process that you are so in love with. So magic is created with having specialized knowledge. I absolutely love it. Now, is every day like easy? No, but you know what? I fall in love when it gets tough, because I know I'm getting stronger. And I know deep within you, you guys are here, you know something within you is dying to emerge. Magic is created with our programs. We take you much deeper into all of this. So all you have to do is allow yourself to go there. I'm forever getting messages from our clients. They are so grateful that they are constantly in upgrade mode. They've learned that. They've made it part of their habits, upgrade, stretching, because they're taking the right action. They have the right direction, and the accountability is in place as well. So that's really important. Imagine having the right processes to keep you accountable to your goals, keeping you accountable to the word that you have set for yourself. And it's eliminating all of this, what we're talking about. It's really eliminating a lot of time and mistakes that you may try and figure this out on your own. So having someone who's more aware of you, direct you into the right place, is going to make all the difference in the world. So when you have the right steps mapped out for you, you do your part, which is follow through the plan. Wonderful things start to happen automatically. So the plan for today, it's going to come in 2 steps again. So the first step is making a committed decision today with discipline on something that you're going to do and act on right away that's going to move you closer to your goal. That's step number 1. So listen to what I said. I said committed decision with discipline. Discipline your decision with commitment to stretch yourself. You make the decision before you're ready. Make a decision today that you've been resisting to do before you're ready, and you're going to watch how much you're going to grow during that process. So you want to activate that do it now muscle. That's really important for today. From now on, only make decisions coming from your goal. Remember, your actions are going to tell you how badly you really want your goal. Think about that. If you reflect on your goal, Arash had you write it out today. Your actions are going to tell you how badly you want that goal. So you want to make sure your actions are reflecting that goal. And step number 2 is to book a call with our coaches, one of our coaches, so we can help you. If you've been hesitating to book a call, I encourage you to book it immediately. Look at step number 1. It says, make a committed decision with discipline. So what did Arash say? Our coaches will give you the right exact direction on what you need. You'll get clear on so many things. You're going to get clear on what program will be a perfect fit for you. And we have many options no matter where you're starting out. So it'd be great to get clear. Either you start with us right away immediately, or we make it and guide you to make it part of your goal. So it's going to speed up your goal achievement process for sure. So it's okay if you're feeling nervous. I want to rest assure here for a second, okay? Because some of you guys might be feeling nervous and excited at the same time. This is a good sign if you're feeling these emotions, okay? And I'll tell you why. I'm going to explain it. If you're feeling nervous and excited at the same time, the reason for that is you know your life's about to change. Going into the unknown, your life is about to change. So having that specialized knowledge in the direction on what you need, which action steps to take, which behaviors you need to align to make it congruent with your goal is a game changer. So rather than making and taking actions from your current level of awareness, what's going to happen is we're going to bring you up to our awareness. We're going to bring you up to our standard. So we're going to bring you to where you want to be much quicker. So we always have a choice, as Arash said, is so true. We get choices all day long. What do you have to lose? Nothing. You have nothing to lose. What do you have to gain? Everything. It could be that one moment that changes the game for you. So make choices today to behave into your new identity. You can't play small and want to win big at the same time. So it's costing you more money by playing small. We want to act big, think big, and attack your greatest resistance. Whatever you're resisting, go out and do right away today. Okay. And Mykie, I'm going to hand it. It's all yours right now.
Thank you so much, Monica, and thank you, Arash. Today was fantastic. I knew that it would be. I told you all today would be a very important lesson, and I hope that you all feel the same way. I hope that you take away from this exactly how to get into action, exactly how to make decisions with urgency and in a way that takes you to your goal. I don't want you to do anything else except for click on that link in the comment section right now and go schedule an appointment with one of our coaches. They can help you so much. Arash always says one call changed his life, and that same call could change your life. If you go to the calendar and you don't see any times available that work for you, we will be flexible and work with you. Just send us an email, hello@vosscoachingco.com, and we will find a place to get you into one of our coaches' calendars. I just want to say thank you all so much. We still have a little bit left of this event, and tomorrow we are going to answer all of your questions. So come to the Zoom call with 1, 2, maybe 3 questions prepared. We're going to get through as many as we can in about an hour, and we're going to have a lot of fun doing it. So we'll see you back here on Zoom tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern for a Q&A session with Arash. You're going to receive an email from Zoom in about an hour with the replay link. You'll also receive an email from Voss Coaching Co. in a couple of hours with our notes and a link to the replays from the entire week on our website. So if you are holding out for the replay from the entire week, don't worry, you're going to get 2 emails with that today. I hope you all enjoyed today's session as much as we enjoyed delivering it to you. And we'll see you tomorrow for a Q&A session. Right now, go book your appointment.
Keep stretching yourself. So if you achieve one goal, that's not the end of it. Then there's another one coming. There's always more to come. I'm more confident now in myself and in my capabilities from all that Arash has been teaching me over the years. I know I'm going to more places after this.
My biggest win working with Voss Coaching Co. and Arash has just been the accountability and the connection. Like literally, I know Arash cares. I've worked with other coaches before, and I feel like the dots are really connecting this time. Something when I sit with Arash and I'm on these calls with these other like-minded people, I'm doing the work. I'm repeating my affirmations. I'm doing all the things that Arash is suggesting, and it's been amazing. I really wanted to leverage my time, and since working with Voss Coaching Co., I've hired another interior designer. I'm getting much better at leadership. My team is flowing pretty well, and I've created really big goals for myself. One of my goals was to be published in Lux Magazine. I found out last week that I am going to be published in Lux Magazine, and this was literally from September when I was here at my first Voss Coaching Co. event to today. 7 months, I was able to achieve my goal, one of them, and it's just so exciting. I would say if you want to live a life of impact and create big things and you want to be happy and fulfilled, you should definitely, no question, hire Voss Coaching. It has changed my life, and I know it will change yours too.
Working with Voss Coaching Co. and Arash, the experience has been great. It's been good to have a mentor whose conditioning and whose perspective I can really trust and go to with problems that I'm having, knowing I'm getting a very, very good solution for them. And working with Arash, he's just a good mentor that you can trust, who's not going to bullshit you, who's going to give you the real answer, even when it's the thing that you don't want to hear.
I happened to be the first day seated at the front of the room, and Arash called on me to ask me what was it that I really wanted. And I had this dialogue that I was going to spill out. But in that moment, for him just asking that question, he broke something in me that allowed me to strip of who I thought I was and become vulnerable in that moment and just be so authentic in myself that I really had not been before. So he made me see really who I was and be truthful with myself.
Yeah, so my name is Daniel Kelly, and I'm originally from the UK. A little bit about my background. So after university, I went into investment banking, and I worked for places like Goldman Sachs and Barclays, and I really didn't like it. And I wanted more of a life of freedom and living on my own terms. So I started my own coaching business, and I've been doing it for the last 6 or 7 years, and I specialize in mostly health and fitness and mindset as well. I would say that I've been studying personal development for more than 10 years, but in hindsight, when I got to know Arash, I realized I hadn't been studying it. And so I've only been studying it seriously for the past 2 years and really understanding these teachings that Arash shares. The biggest gain that I've gotten, I think, is honestly having more energy, because I don't beat myself up, I don't shame myself, and I have way more confidence in myself and my ability to achieve my goals. I think that joining Voss was one of the best decisions I made. Last year when I joined, I've been with Voss for over 6 months now, 7 months. And one of the reasons why I love working with Voss so much is because I really feel valued, and they care about my success. I've been in many different coaching programs in the past, and I felt like I was a bit of a number sometimes. And with Voss, it's not just Arash who's invested in my success, but other people like Mykie, Monica, and whatever they can do, they will help you succeed. And I think that having the accountability of a great coach and mentor, but not only the best, in my opinion, Arash is one of the best there is, has been tremendous in both in my progress towards my goals, but for me, mainly, it's becoming better as a coach and better at selling and selling my ideas to people. So in that regard, I've gone over and above what I expected to achieve. You think that you can know things and you've heard things before, but the fact is, if you're not applying them in your life and you're seeing the results, you don't really understand them. And the key to getting tremendous results in any area of your life is having a great mentor. And I truly believe that Voss is the best mentor that you can have. So don't sit on the fence and don't hold back, because if you invest in Voss, you won't be disappointed. You'll love the results that you get. So what I love about Arash is that he lives and breathes everything that he teaches. He's the product of the product, and he really embodies and really cares about his students' success. So I think that's one of the reasons why people are so loyal and want to continue working with Voss, because Arash is so invested in everyone's success, and he lives and breathes what he preaches.
We had some things happen, and I had to make some big decisions. The coaching program gave me the confidence in myself, to believe in myself, to make those difficult decisions, and helped me set those standards to where I knew how to make those decisions and why I would make those decisions. I have now transitioned out of that company, and I'm pursuing the life that I always dreamed of. It was one of the most difficult things I've ever done, transitioning out of a partnership and a long-term business relationship. Arash and Voss Coaching gave me the confidence and the tools to take that next step. and it's been exciting. It's been great. I feel like I'm just getting started.
You work with Arash, he really has conviction and really knows what he's doing. When you work with him, you just feel his confidence, and that kind of confidence gets imbued into you. That allows you to go out and then kind of populate it into the people in your life. It's actually been beneficial to me because I've been able to have a much more close relationship with Arash. You know, he really cares about the people he works with. He really wants them to succeed. And so he's not looking to get, he's looking to give. A difference between him and a lot of other people in this space, I would say.